Hello everyone, this is Sharon from Crafting Your Dreams, and today I just wanted to put together a quick video. I decided to try a new product from a new store. The name of the store is Vinyl Time, and they had what they're calling HTVs, which are similar to your DTF product. Now, I do sublimation, and I actually print those out myself, but I haven't tried the DTF products, so I decided I would buy a few designs. So I have this one. I purchased this one. Straight Out of Patience, #MomLife. I saw, I had anxiety, so I left. I thought that was cute. So I have these 4 designs that I want to try today. So when I realized that there was a craft store that I haven't tried in the immediate area where I live, I decided to go by, pick up a few products, and maybe put together a few videos. So this is my first one of maybe a series of 2 or 3 that I'm going to do. So before I begin, I'm going to tell you everything you need to try this particular product. Of course, you're going to need your heat press. The temperature is 320 degrees, pressing for 20 seconds, and it's warm peel. As always, you need your gloves for your protection. You need your tape measure so that you can measure where to put your design on your shirt before you press it. Because of the way that this process works, you're going to need your squeegees. Of course, you need your design. And you need what they call the magic mask, which you can also purchase at the time that you purchase your designs. And basically what it is a tacky sheet adhesive on top of a plain white paper. And what you're going to do is you're going to actually adhere your design to the tacky sheet that's on here, and it can be pressed on the heat press. So that's how you actually get the design off of the original sheet on this clear adhesive sheet. From this one, you actually press this sheet because it's heat resistant, and you can reuse this sheet as long as it's tacky. So once you finish, you adhere it back to this plain white sheet of paper, and you just hold on to it until your next use. And of course, you're going to need whatever you're going to put your design on. I chose t-shirts. I'm going to be putting each of these designs on a t-shirt. So for my first design, I decided I was going to use this pink t-shirt. I thought the colors would match this design. So let's begin. Remember, heat press, 320 degrees, 20 seconds. I've already set it. I've also heat pressed my shirt for a few seconds. Always do that to pull the moisture out of your shirt. So basically, we are going to begin. I'm going to get you a little bit closer to the heat press so you can actually see what's going on. So normally you can do the 2-finger test to do your design, but basically for your shirts you want from the top to your design to be between, I always go with 2.5 to 3 inches below the bottom of the collar. So you take your tape measure and you measure that, where you would like to place the top of your design. Now, mind you, when you're looking at your design, the top of the design is not the paper. The top of the design is the top of your letter. So where you want this letter to fall on your shirt is where you want to place it. And another thing that you also want to make sure is that your design is centered between the edge of the shirt. So the measurement from the bottom of the collar being this point right here. Like I said, I always do 2.5 to 3 inches down. And then I center it from the armpit to the armpit. Now, just to kind of show you, now I've already done this design. I've already taken the magic paper and put it on. But basically, you can feel the print on here. So what you would do is you take this sheet, and remember, there's the adhesive. You would take the adhesive off like such. This paper you're not going to use to press. And you're going to take your design and you're going to lay this on top of your design. Let me show you how that works. So I've taken the adhesive off of the white sheet and I've placed it on top of my design, and I take my squeegee and I press it on the design to the adhesive sheet. Now what that does is when you get ready to press that on, you're going to peel the adhesive away, and the design, as you can see, will lift off of the original paper, and it will now be on your heat resistant paper. So let's take that completely off. Now if you start to peel it and you notice it's not lifting a part of the design, just place it back down and squeegee it some more. But the key is to get the entire design on that sticky or tacky heat resistant paper. And this is the paper the design was originally on. And now this is the adhesive that you separated from the white sheet, the magic sheet. This is your heat resistant paper. Okay, let's turn the camera back to the heat press. Now, it did adhere to the letters, but it's okay if you place it on your shirt and you have to move it around. Because what you want to do is make sure you get it exactly where you want it before you press it. Now, another important thing you could use that I did before I started filming, I did on all 4 shirts, was I took my lint roller and I lint brushed all of my shirts. Now that's very important. You don't want to get any type of lint or fuzz caught up under your letters or your design, because once this heat touches it and it sinks it into your shirt, whatever is stuck up underneath there, you would see it. So the lint brush is an extra step, but to me is very important. Okay, So we are going to measure and center this on the shirt. And that same measure twice, cut once, that's what we use for sewing. I apply that same concept to all of the different crafting techniques that I use. So it does not matter. Now it may be easier to measure this on the table. But however many times that you need to measure your design, do so, because you only get one time to press it and get it right. So I have it centered. I just want to bring it down just a little bit further. And just a little bit more. Let me see what I think here. Let's see. Move the camera back a little bit. See if this is where I would like my design to be. I think I like it. I may move it up just a tad bit because it's a pretty big design and it's a size medium shirt. So basically it's going to cover the majority of the front. So my shirt is flat. I'm going to measure from corner to corner. Make sure there are no wrinkles in my fabric. And then I am going to take it over to the heat press. Okay, again, the measurements, not the measurements, I'm sorry, the temperature for the heat press, 320 degrees. Now that temperature varies based on the process. Sometimes it varies based on the product. It could vary based on the manufacturer. So you want to make sure you know the directions because some DTF, some HTVs, maybe they need a little bit more heat than others. So it's not just like temperatures across the board. Basically, you want to follow the manufacturer's directions. And I personally asked the owner of the store for the directions for her HTV. And she told me 320, 20 degrees, warm peel. And basically, your warm peel means peel it, not as soon as you lift the heat press off of it, but while it's still warm. And if you start to peel in any process when you're heat pressing, and if you peel and your letters or your design starts to lift, then that either means that it's not warm peel, it needs to wait until it cools off, or there's something wrong, but you don't want to just peel it off because you could mess up your design. So I have my design on my shirt. I'm going to go ahead and put on my heat press, heat resistant gloves. because once this starts heating this up, it's going to be very hot. You do not want to handle it while it's hot, especially because it is warm peel. All right, so I am ready, and here we go. 320, 19 degrees. 320 degrees, 20 seconds. And I'll be back in 20 seconds. Okay. So now, it is warm peel. Again, 320 degrees. Remember, this is really hot. So what I would do is I am going to transfer it over to my heat pressing mat until it is actually time to peel the design off. And I'm going to let it cool off. And we're going to wait and see how this turns out. I tested it with my hand because I couldn't tell if it was actually warm with my glove on, but it is warm. So I always peel from a corner. You never want to come straight down because you may lift up some of your design. So I always pick a corner and peel slowly. Okay, it's not warm enough. So let's let this warm up a little bit and we'll be right back. Okay, so this paper is warm to the touch. So let's peel and see what happens. I always peel really, really slow because I don't want to mess anything up. I get a little anxious because I want it right. It's coming out really good. Like I said, this is my first time using this product from this particular store. The owner was really friendly, and I told her I would be back to get more supplies in the future. This is the first time I've tried this type of HTV. Okay, and I'm still going up from a corner. From corner to corner. The design is not lifting off the shirt. So that's really good. I'm actually doing a little bit of a stretch while I'm doing it to see how well it adheres to the shirt. And I tell you what, it is not coming off. Oh, wow. Now it's actually cool now, so I can touch it. This came out beautifully. Check it out. Okay, pause for a second, and I am going to put my new shirt on. And this is the shirt. I love it. It's comfortable. It's not that really hard, papery type feel that you can get with some of these types of designs. It's actually pretty soft, and it's adhered on the shirt really well. So I do recommend this type of HTV. Again, the name of the store is Vinyl Time, and this is their HTV. I'm going to do the other 3 shirts, and then I'm going to come back and post all 4 shirts. Okay, I'm done with all 4 shirts. All 4 of the designs came out great. They feel great. They passed the stretch test. The next test would be the wash test. See how many times they're washed. See if they fade or if the design does anything as far as stretch out of shape. But as far as what they look like right now, they look great. As far as washing, I recommend you wash the t-shirts in cold water. Of course, all of the shirts are colored shirts. So I recommend always with your DTF and your HTVs, wash the shirt in cold water. Do not dry it in the dryer because the heat can actually get to your designs and they may melt depending on what the heat temperature of your dryer is. So I don't recommend drying them. If you have to iron them inside out. Never have your iron come in contact with your design. And I am going to show you what the final products look like. Okay, these are the final shirts. The design came out beautifully. Okay, let's do a little wrap up here. This is one shirt. And this is the second. This one I made personally for myself. And then this is one of my favorites. Straight out of Patience, hashtag mom life. For all of those busy moms out there. So that's going to do it today for our crafting session. Stay tuned for future videos for Crafting Your Dreams. I'm Sharon, and I'll see you the next time. Signing out.